Hey everybody, this is Scoots. This is a new kind of experimental version of Sleep With Me we've never done before. So welcome. These are just bedtime stories from our podcast, Sleep With Me. And to make them feel fresh, these ones are from a couple years ago. So if you're a regular listener, you might get a refresh. And if you're new, these are just bedtime stories from a show called Sleep With Me. They're strange, they're meandering, they're a little bit different. And all this is made possible by listeners like you, regular listeners like you. And so I just want to let you know that's how we're able to put the show out. And so if you are a fan of Sleep With Me, you listen to it on a regular basis, please consider supporting the show. You get ad-free episodes, you get ad-free story-only episodes, tons of other cool stuff at Sleep With Me Plus. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. But if you're in a position and you have some money every month, or you say, hey, maybe I don't watch that streaming service, I'd rather give it to a podcast, think about your favorite podcast. It doesn't have to be Sleep With Me, and support that podcast. If it is Sleep With Me, I consider supporting the show, would be great. But if it isn't, or there's a podcast you listen to way more, brings you a lot of value during the day, please support that podcast. Podcasting is going through a different time right now, and your favorite podcast, the one you get the most out of, could use your support the most. So consider supporting it however they request support. Just check it out, like listen to the show or check out their website, or consider supporting Sleep With Me. If Sleep With Me, you say, oh no, Sleep With Me is the one I listen to the most, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's almost time for me to slow it down and get sleepy while I talk about the Soul Squad on Sleep With Me. And I use a lot of S's and get mixed up, and then try to talk, and then I try to do word fillers, and then I stumble over my words. But first, I'm going to give a long, meandering intro. If I don't really. You say, is this how you normally talk? And I say, well, probably. I don't know. This is how I'm talking to you now. But really, because I'm here to keep you company and to take your mind off. So if you can't sleep, I'm here to be your bore friend, your bore bae, because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. Just a quick message here. If you get a lot out of Sleep With Me, if you're a regular listener, you like these new things we're trying out, like the story-only version of the show. If you're new, don't worry about any of this. But if you're a regular listener of Sleep With Me, or you're a regular listener of any podcast, if you have a favorite podcast, and it's not Sleep With Me, that's totally cool. If you have podcasts you listen to way more, or you get way more value out of, I totally understand that. Consider supporting that podcast. Podcasting as an industry is kind of going through a weird phase right now. Direct support from listeners is going to be, it seems like it's going to be the future of most shows. And so consider supporting the podcast you really love. And you could do that. You could find out, you could listen to the show and see how they ask to be supported. Or reach out to them and say, hey, how can I support you? Or if you can't afford, a few dollars a month, you say, hey, how else can I support you? But if Sleep With Me is the one, Sleep With Me Plus is the best way to support Sleep With Me. Sign up for Sleep With Me Plus. Not only you get an unbelievably sweet, different ways to listen to the show, but it's a huge help for us to be able to do stuff like this. But yeah, think about what your favorite podcast is, and then go ahead and go to their website, or if you already know how they like to be supported, support that show. Thanks and good night. All right, everybody, Scoots here. We're talking about the season finale of season 2, the season finale of season 2. I think I say, Scoots, you've said season finale one too many times. The final episode of season 2, the last episode of season 2, in order, both the 12th and the last episode of season 2. And it's called Somewhere Else. And it starts, I'll start with my notes, then I'll run through the episode, and then we'll have some extra time tonight to look into some facts from this episode and maybe some earlier episodes of the season. But Somewhere Else starts right at left off, new angle. Actually, I don't know, and I'll have to pay attention for it, that there was a break for whatever chapter this was. So I'm not even sure what chapter it is. Though I should know that. Major drama. I said, nice to meet you, Major Drama. Oh, Michael's talking his new angle. Spill the tea, sweetheart, the judge says. And Michael posits this whole thing he's been saying. They got better, which is not supposed to be possible. So that's a pretty big deal. They say, Jason, what did you used to do for fun? He said, well, you used to play with paint and flamingos, and did that since I was a kid. But the judge says, does it prove something? A great frame of Soul Squad? Oh, there's a great frame of Soul Squad. As a judge, might like kind of, we're not over the judge's shoulder. The judge is in front of us. We kind of got the judge's POV, but the judge is still in the frame or the screen, that's the frame. Or the 16 by 9, the old 16 by 9, as that no one says ever. But we have Chidi on the left. Eleanor is next to Chidi. Then Michael is a little bit forward in the center. To the right back of Michael is Tahani, then Jason, then Janet. And then the judge is I said, if we were, we're not the judge, but you know what I'm saying. The idea that good or bad is fundamentally flawed comes up. Eternity of something, tinctures, goosebumps, the judge says. Till Tahani talking test. Oh, so then they cut that scene. I don't know if it went to commercial or not. But then we have Tahani and Eleanor talking about the test, and Tahani's talking about her test. A deep breath, ate a Cheeto, walk away, walk away. But maybe that she talked about walking away from her parents. At first, I kind of liked it. It was kind of very sitcom-y, like two characters sitting on a comfortable sofa chatting. But then the camera pulls back a little and you see those portals behind them. You say, well, that's no sitcom. And then the camera switches perspective, or whatever, the editor or whatever. It switches perspective. We see across the room, Jason is talking to someone. Maybe at the first we notice it's Chidi, but eventually I noticed it was Chidi. He's like, this is one of the craziest days ever, one of the wildest days ever. And they say, one of. And then Janet shows up. She says, hey, by the way, I love you. Complicated feelings? Maybe not so complicated. I love you. And Chidi goes into total shock. And at first, even though part of me knew how this turned out, it had been a long time since I'd seen this episode. And so I said, wait a second, how does this turn out? Because Chidi has a shocked look on his face. He looks to Eleanor, and she's kind of playing with her fingers or her nails and looking nonplussed, like she doesn't care. And then Chidi's kind of like I'm like the fork in the blender. And it really is great progression in this just 2-minute sequence, because then great boundary example from Janet. She says, you know what, Chidi, this isn't about you, so please don't comment on this. And then Chidi makes a determined walk. Well, where's Jason's? At some point, Jason says, girl, I love you back. She says, not a girl anymore. I'm a Janet. I'm not a Janet anymore either. Not just a Janet anymore. Oh, that happens after. Jason says, I think I love you too, girl. And she says, not a girl, but I'm not a Janet anymore either. Yeah, then we get a Chidi determined walk up to Eleanor. He kisses her. His chin goes up after, like, yep, and I love you. And I was, no words, and she goes, hot diggity dog. And then there's some great commentary on that. The judge comes in. She says, who wants some chips and guac? We came up with a plan. Michael and I, you're all going to your own medium places while Michael works on something. And then Jason says, are we going to be together? No, you're not. How much time are we going to be gone? Well, anywhere between a month and a year we'll be gone. I can't really tell you for sure. But it could be, it could be a little bit of time. And this is actually more normal time. Both options suck. So this was a subtle way of Eleanor put her foot down. You didn't really realize it at first, but she says both options suck. So I don't really would choose neither one of those. And then Oh, Michael needs more time to figure it out. Then Michael says, hot diggity dog. And him and the judge have a lot of nonverbal communication, but they know what one another's thinking. How's that justice? Slow roll. Did it, but they did it for a reward. The judge is like, no, we can't give them a second chance because they're good behavior. They did it for what's called moral desert. Great, great writing. You do something moral because you're getting a reward or dessert, but they just needed a push in the right direction. And that's when Michael gets the new idea. Oh, no. That's Looney Tunes. And he says, it's only 4 people. Wink won't work. The judge says, but Michael says, come on. And then Maya Rudolph goes through these faces while she's thinking, which are really good. It was strict rules. What Michael grins. What the fork? Eleanor says, and then snaps. And it goes to fades to white. And Eleanor's back in the parking lot. The person with the petition is there. It says, you don't know me. Eleanor gets rescued. I said, was that Trent from season 4? I can never remember. Then we see her place and her roommates, twerp or frozen, close call. Is the margarita mix really gone? Then the other roommate takes over her story. There's a mention of Syracuse, New York. Eleanor leaves and goes to her room. We'll pause that and look at her room a little bit. She goes on, I thought it was Instagram, but I think it was some Insta Facebook type thing. Now that they're same anyway. Wakes up, she goes to work. I'm trying to be a better person. You want to go to the baby shower? Sure. Then she goes to the environmental petition person and apologizes. That's not, you didn't really apologize. You just said you were sorry. She goes, okay, I'm sorry. I was mean. Of all the times I was mean to you, I don't have an excuse for it. Apology accepted. And she goes, how'd you get HORNEY for the environment anyway? Clean Energy Crusaders. Then we see Michael and Janet working the ticker tape machines, one for each of the Soul Squad, or the human side of the Soul Squad. Something. High fives. Eleanor out at back of arm. Oh, Eleanor out of bed in the morning. There's a musical montage. Lunch with friends or not. Eleanor, I'm really sorry. Oh, so Eleanor starts admitting new places. So she tells she starts working at this place, making new connections. Then she tells her friend, about how she made T-shirts of her, and she's really sorry. She has to get a new place. Going gets tough. Gets tougher. We see pizza in a toaster. I'm trying to be good, and her roommate, her still best friend, her other still best friend, laughs. Ha ha ha. There's a 0. She gets a 0 day on the ticker tape. So Michael's concerned. She's reading Celebrity Baby, and the environmental guy shows up. Sorry, he goes, this is a job. And then her friend comes in. She says, I got tickets to a Taylor Swift reggae cover band, Taylor Spliffs. And Eleanor says, being good is for suckers. I quit. Something. Back. But then she goes back to work. She's sick of doing the right thing. Michael's frustrated. No way to help them. Janet says, and they zoom on Michael. And then we see Eleanor out for her birthday, and Michael's the bartender. What do you talk? What do you talk about? What do you do? Let's talk about it. And we should pause, and then we cut back, and she's describing the plot of Kangaroo Jack. No one cares. 6 Mets. Moral dessert. Well, I want a tiara that's when he talks about moral dessert. I want a tiara or one of those diagonal award belts. You mean a sash? It says good person when she tried, right direction. And then Michael says, what do we owe each other? Good luck. Eleanor wakes up in her bed. She's a little bit hungover. We see Michael. He says, did anybody notice I was gone? No. Then we see 1 year ago, Eleanor's looking at her social media. Say, 1 year ago, you posted like this apology to Brian Lochte. And she Googles, what do we owe each other? And Chidi's video comes up. This is kind of like where season 3 starts, right? And it's part 1 of a 3-hour presentation. Something reasonable, about being a good person. Why do it? But he has her. Like, as she watches the video, we see it. We are not in this alone, Chidi says. And that's such a good reminder, right? We're not in this alone. And then her roommate comes, she says, don't you get my text? We're going somewhere. She goes, I'm going somewhere else. And we see Sydney Airport. She arrives. Michael's at the ticker tape. Eleanor's in the halls of St. John's, Sydney University or something. She knocks on Chidi Anagonia's door. Is this where I find kind of Anna Kent? Something long. Oh, that long nerdy video. He says, my presentation. So we'll check out his office. And she goes, can we talk? And then we zoom on Michael and he says, okay, here we go. And the episode comes to a close. All right, so let's run through it. We got the judge sits down. Michael spilled the tea. And he's really working his presentation. He's got a nice suit. He has sport coat and pants on, kind of a maroon tie. Judge has a serious, she actually uses her eyes really well. He does have a pocket square, but he's got the long tie, no bow tie. So that all must mean something that I never was able to grasp in 8,000 hours of watching. Jason's in one of his warm-up suits with a white tee. He looks super cool. Michael's like, he's so much better. Janet's making faces. Let the immortal beings talk, darling. Tahani says, this doesn't prove anything according to the judge, but it does. Michael says, come on now, judge. It does prove something. And he said, this is flawed and unreasonable. And, it's millions of people have been going to the bad place. And that's when she says, you gave me goosebumps there. It doesn't happen very often. Oh, The Good Place, chapter 26. I missed that. Then it goes to them talking, kind of like on the set of a sitcom, except there's 2 portals to Netherworld behind them. I mean, it could be like the set of Frasier. And, Tahani and Eleanor are talking. And she's saying how proud she is of her, how proud Eleanor is. And Tony says, well, I'm so glad we became mates, British for friends. Then Jason's talking about what a wild day it is. And then it just gets wilder. Chidi's arms are crossed. He's got a striped shirt on, khakis. Eleanor is in her purple dress with the blouse that's like white with turquoise diamond kind of things. Jason also has a pretty thick gold chain. Chidi's brain is grinding like a fork in a garbage disposal, but stay out of it. And that's when Jan says, not a girl, not a Janet anymore. Then Chidi goes, let's count this. Hey, man, what's up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 seconds without Mississippi. So at least a 4-second kiss with one mouth move. He laughs when she says, hot diggity dog. It's, honest. Judge and Michael come in. No guac. Here's all of the medium places. Wonder if this is a set or it actually they filmed. I don't think they filmed this in a bank or an elevator hallway. Got to tailor this. This ain't the medium place. How much time will be alone? Eleanor's smitten. And she says, well, she just laid one on me. That's when Michael says, hot diggity dog, back at you. Oh, because she says, and both these options suck. A little dizzy from that kiss. And we've all gotten better. Why do we have to live in a boring void? Oh, so she says, how is this justice? She says, slowly roll Aaron Brockovich, the judge. Yeah, it's not just, I mean, this is the whole moral dessert thing. You thought there was a reward. That's why you were good. And that's not how it works. You're supposed to be good for goodness sake. And Michael says, well, what if you got to push in the right direction here? And she goes, no, 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 no. They go back and forth. No one knows what they're talking about. It's like there's only 4 people. No one will know. Come on. Jason's like, what? Come on. I want to get in on this. Michael says, don't worry about it, Judge. If it doesn't work out, it's not going to work out anyway. So then she makes all the faces. He says, yay. Strict rules. I could change my mind at any point. Michael's giggling. He's not just smiling. And that's when we snap. Eleanor's eyes open. She's in the middle of talking, turns her thing around, loses her margarita mix. Someone catches her. For some reason, I do think it's Brent or Trent or whatever that they go off. Everybody's amazed. Holy mackerel. That was close. Then we got like a Real Housewives type show. Eleanor still has 2 bags of groceries. And they say, geez, they talk about the guy who collects the signatures. Eleanor talks about her close call. And then, her roommates, her friends are ready to move on. And let's see, the apartment has like an orange wall. It's got some paintings up. Couches are gray. They don't look super comfortable, though. Jil is the painter of one of the paintings. Eleanor goes in her room, which is a mess. She starts cleaning her room up. Wait a second. She even has a bedspread, like a quilt. She labels her garbage bags. She's like, she's doing this admission to, I couldn't see the labels, but I'm selfish. I saw Burles, did with Ryan Lochte, disrespected him. But she starts doing nice things, letting her roommate borrow her credit card, getting up out of a made bed, quitting her job for, the stuff, and listening to her boss go on and on and on, saying she's going to go to a, what do you call that thing? Baby shower. Then she apologizes. I came here to apologize. I apologize. No, you didn't. And she goes, okay, I didn't apologize. I'm sorry for being mean to you like 1,000 times. No excuse. Apology accepted. Can you teach me of, why you're into the environment so much? And then she gets introduced to the Clean Energy Crusaders. Everybody's happy. The musical montage starts. We see the ticker tapes. Eleanor, Tahani, Jason, and Chidi. High five. Eleanor wakes up. There's a son among the remnants. All our words left unsaid. And when the truth lies in our direction, do we work it or lose our heads? Or maybe we're strong. Maybe we're wrong. Eleanor's cleaning up after people. And then they go out to dinner. She's a vegetarian now. She admits, how she hurt her other friend's feelings, and then her other friend's mad. They say, get out. You got to find a new place to live. She wakes up again in her new place with boxes, and she's having a tougher time getting people to take her pamphlets. Michael's looking at her. Tougher time waking up every day. Bored at work. Let's see if I can freeze on this whiteboard at work here. National org. Last 10 months, a failure to move the needle. Fewer direct approach appeals. More on campus time. Merging of forces. Super PAC. Area groups. National org. Next meeting, we need ideas. That's what's on the board at Eleanor's meeting. Everybody, and then maybe we're strong, the song goes. And then Eleanor has like a little dingy poo with her car. Turns out that's being honest doesn't work out for her there either. So that's frustrating. And then, she's more frustrated. I'm trying to be good. Her roommate laughs. How's that working out? Michael sees a 0 on the ticker tape, Celebrity Baby magazine. Eleanor quits her job. She could go to, Taylor Swift, reggae cover band. She got a big bird painting in her living room. That's pretty cool. And she says, this is a crummy apartment. Being good is for suckers. She says, well, I get fulfillment from it. And she says, I don't like that. Hit the road, Benedict Cumberbatch. Then she goes back to her job, and they got a new thing going. But Eleanor doesn't care. She says, just show me where my desk is. Michael's frustrated. There's no one to help. Then we got the party. Red and her friend's like, I got to go. I got to meet up with somebody. So Eleanor's solo. She's a little bit tipsy. She says, usually I lie about my birthday, but it's actually my birthday today. Last year on my birthday, I thought I was going to turn over a good leaf or whatever, but then I stopped and now I'm here. There's Michael in a plaid dress shirt, Desert Rosé, Sting's Desert Rosé. And Michael's listening to her. And he's like, kind of like the movie Cocktail a little bit, though he's not flipping drinks or anything. Problem with being a do-gooder is no one cares. Some people care, but Eleanor says they don't really matter. I was a good person for 6 months. I felt, didn't feel great. What did I get for it? That's when Michael talks moral desserts, concept that when you act with virtue, you deserve a reward. Well, if I'm not going to get rewarded, what is it worth? Why should I do good things? And then, Michael talks about this voice in your head, which Chidi refers to again later. And she doesn't realize Michael's talking about her. She was a little rough around the edges, but I think that voice was her conscience trying to point her in the right direction. I got to go home. What do I owe you? What do we owe each other? And he says, drinks are on me. Then Eleanor wakes up. She's slowly getting out of bed. Ow. Michael sits down. Anybody knows how it's gone? No. So then she drinks some coffee, opens up her thing, sees her post from a year ago, thinks, what do we owe each other? I thought there was something about this Despacito, that song that was popular that I can't pronounce. Yeah, there was a lot more jokes snuck in there. And then Chidi's speaking 4-part utilitarianism in 5 minutes, though, in the Beginner's Guide to Kant. But Chidi's got a 4-part video. Couple thousand views, about 2,500 views. The difference between being reasonable. What does it mean to be a reasonable person? We all have different definitions. Why choose to be good when there's no guaranteed reward? Well, our bonds with other people and our innate desire to treat them with dignity. Simply put, we're not in this alone. And that's where things clarify for Eleanor. And she says, I'm going somewhere else. Qantas Air, Sydney International Airport, St. John's University. Michael sees it on the ticker tape, 1826, when the university was established. Oh, at Chidi Anagonye's office, was it 210? So he's on the second floor? Yeah, 210. That's the house. It's a special number to me, 210. And he says, yeah, we see his office, which we've seen before, virtue ethics on the board. Tuesday is when office hours are. And he goes, yeah, the practical applications of ethical theory. Hi, my name's Eleanor Shellstrop. Can we talk? Zoom on Michael. Here we go. And then, yeah, I'll be back to talk about some what do you call them, facts and stuff I looked up about the episode. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, so let's talk about some of the facts that came up in the last few episodes of this season. One was Kangaroo Jack. I think Eleanor was recounting the plot of it, and I said, wait a second, that sounds familiar, but it also sounds unbelievable, and I'm not even sure. It was like, okay, I don't know. So I'm going to read through the Wikipedia article about Kangaroo Jack. It's a 2003 movie, comedy with a little, action thriller type thing from Castle Rock Entertainment and Bruckheimer Films. Distributed by Warner Pictures, directed by David McNally, a screenplay by Steve Bing and Scott Rosenberg, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, and stars, so it was corrected, Jerry O'Connell, Anthony Anderson, Estella Warren, Michael Shannon, and Christopher Walken, and Adam Garcia as the voice of Kangaroo Jack, uncredited. It was universally panned by critics who criticized almost everything about it, including that it was supposed to be a family film, though the visuals and soundtrack were praised. Despite the mostly negative perception, it was a box office success. So they showed him 88.1 million box office gross on a $60 million budget. It did have an animated sequel titled Kangaroo Jack, A Good Day USA, that was produced and released in 2003. But yeah, I will go through the plot here because I don't know the movie and I was listening to Eleanor a little bit. So 1982, a boy named Charlie Carbone is about to join a family. So this is a little bit of Sopranos, and they try to double cross him. So he's about to become the stepson of the boss, and he's saved by a boy named Louis Booker, and they become friends. 20 years later, Charlie now runs his own beauty salon, but the family business, it takes a majority of the salon's profits. They're supposed to hide some TVs that were taken without permission. And Sal gives Charlie and Louis, or Louis, I don't know, Louis or Louis. I'd say Louis, maybe? Oh, Louis with an E. So yeah, it's a Louis. Under the instructions of Frankie, they're supposed to deliver a package to a man named Mr. Smith in Australia. And they say, don't end up doing. So then they get the package, they open it up. They head out. They meet a kangaroo, a red kangaroo. Louis puts his jet. So this gets a little bit like another movie. And the kangaroo hops away with the package, or what was in the package, which was money. And the kangaroo gets away. Then they try to explain their situation to their boss. Then hijinks ensue. Charlie and Louis try to go after they try to do a sleep podcast and put the kangaroo to sleep. And then they're supposed to take off, but they actually sing so lulling that the pilot falls asleep, never takes off. Then they meet someone from the Outback Wildlife Foundation. Following day, they meet the kangaroo near a river. They try to catch it, but of course it doesn't work out. More antics ensue. And love starts to blossom. Then they get busted by this Mr. Smith character. The kangaroo returns to rescue them, it sounds like. Final chase. Kangaroo pursued by Frankie. Louis manages to get the money. Charlie saves Louis. Louis. And then, let's see, 1 year later, spoiler. 1 year later, Charlie and Jesse are married, and they've used Sal's money to start a line of new hair care products bearing a kangaroo. Oh, this is what she's saying, with a kangaroo logo. Huh. So I guess that's taken from a little bit from there. That's interesting. So that's just a little bit about Kangaroo Jack. Now I'm trying to get the next thing loaded, but having a bit of I've got a technological hurdle. I've got a, I'm in a car. So for some reason, so I'm trying to copy and paste from my phone into an iPad because for some reason the iPad just does not want to, and then I just put that in reading mode. I guess I could just read it right off my phone, couldn't I? I don't know, Scoots, could you? I don't know. Let's try. So the next one was like they said hot dog, hot diggity dog, and that made me think of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song, which I just was listening to somebody else say like, how many generations have been impacted by this song, and also I did not know that it was the They Might Be Giants that came up with it, or at least so I said my brother told me that the other day. And I said, the birdhouse in my soul built by that news. So this is from DisneyFandom.com, the Disney Wiki, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme, composer, lyrics, and performers, They Might Be Giants. It's the opening theme song for the TV series Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And it's performed by They Might Be Giants. It goes, Mickey says, hey, everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse. You might come in my, I got better paraphrase, in my club. All right, I almost forgot to say, to make the clubhouse appear, we got to sing the magic words, which are like Miska Mouska, Mickey Mouska or something. Then they sing the spell his name. Wait a second, this isn't the hot dog song. Wait a second. Presents, everybody here, yeah. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Miska Mouska, Mickey Mouska. Mickey. It's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Present. Daisy's there. Donald's there. Roll call. Daisy. Goofy. Goofy's there. Pluto. Barking. Yes. Minnie. Giggling here. And Mickey's there. Huh, so that doesn't have, that's not the hot dog song at all. What is going on here? I guess I'm going to have to do a little Googling live. I know what I Googled was Mickey Mouse hot dog song, and that's what came up. Oh, I also have that's right, I have this is not, okay, Mickey Mouse hot dog dance. Why does Mickey Mouse say hot dog? This is all on Google. You'd like to see how he's moving. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs. Mickey Mouse Club hot dog dance. So this is a YouTube video. I'm looking for actual factual. Here's the hot dog song. It's also performed by They Might Be Giants. See, we're here live learning while you rest and take it easy over on Disney Fandom, Disney.fandom.com. The hot dog song is performed by They Might Be Giants at the end of the episode. So that was the beginning. This is the end. Then they perform the hot dog dance. Each character has a different move. The song's name echoes Disney's first spoken words from The Carnival Kid, 1929. Extended versions of the song have been released on 2 different albums, Playhouse Disney Music Date and Disney Junior DJ Shuffle. And it got a reintroduction with the 3rd season of Mickey and the Roadster Racers. And it goes, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Now we got ears. It's time for cheers. Hot dog, the problem solved. Hot diggity dog. What a hot dog day. It's a brand new day. What are you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, stomp on the floor. So that's just, there you go. That's a Mickey Mouse hot dog song, in case you were wondering about that. Okay, next up, this is maybe something we've covered, maybe not. I actually do need to open this in the iPad, though. This is where I'm like talking to producer Scoots, and I'm trying to do this at the same time. But it's just really hard on my eyes to try to read this. So I'm just telling my boss, old Scoots Magoots. I say, Scoots, can you, I say, no problem, Scoots. I'm working on it. This is good. It's good. Oh, that didn't work out, though. Okay, well, is there another way we could do this? What I'm trying to do is go from Notion into on my phone, because I don't know my Notion password, so I couldn't open it up on, oh, here we go. Can we copy that? Copy that, buddy, and paste it here on the iPad. One of my favorite things about Apple products is being able to copy and paste on different devices. So if you learned something about me today. So Goosebumps, R.L. Stein, is a children's fiction by author R.L. Stein, Scholastic Publishing. Child characters who find themselves in situations where normally your vigilance would be heightened to hyper. And it could involve supernatural elements. Books from 1992 to 1997, 62 books published under the Goosebumps umbrella. There was spin-offs written by Stein, Series 2000, Tales, Give Yourself, Triple Header, Most Wanted, and even more. There was even a series never released, Goosebumps Gold, spawned a television series, feature films. And since the release of the first novel, Welcome to the Big Farmhouse, 1992, 400 million books worldwide have been sold, 32 languages. Structure and genre, it's a bit of a thriller. There's humor. I don't know if I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've read a Goosebumps book. If I have, maybe I read one of the slappy ones, actually. That's the name of the character. That's they say who's they say they would make that character would make jokes about me. They tend to be people that are a little bit lonely and away from home, move to a new place or staying with relatives. They all feature similar plot structures. And at the peak, Stein was known to be able to complete a book in only 6 days sometimes. They're mostly first-person narrative, twist endings. Some can be surreal, strange, and supernatural. There's a lot of plot devices used throughout the books. Very rarely does anyone go to the big farm. Never situations that are too serious. And they tend to be a little bit vanilla. They're also written at between the 3rd and the 7th grade reading level. And according to one documentary, Stein had read a lot of the comic books that were popular when they were younger. And even something like Pinocchio was an influence. And a lot of themes of children triumphing and facing situations and using their wit and imagination. There's recurring characters. Oh, there's a picture of R.L. Stein. I was like, I thought R.L. Stein may have been an imaginary author. This is all new to me, really. Achievements, reception. The book was challenged and banned a lot between 2000 and 2009, according to ALA, 94th on the list of, and 15th on the list of most frequently challenged books from 1990 to 1999. So that's interesting. Because the television and film adaptations, video games, comic books, other media. And yeah, so that's a little bit about Goosebumps, since Eleanor brought up Goosebumps on some level. So yeah, now we'll be here. This is real sleep podcasting stuff. You say, okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going into Notion. I'm clicking on the next hyperlink, which I think is where does the expression spill the tea from Stack Exchange. Then I'm clicking on it. Then I'm clicking on share. Then I'm copying the hyperlink. Now's the most delicate part because I have to make sure to paste the link or delete the first link, then paste. Oh, so I don't think there was anything difficult about it. Last time I just forgot to exit out of the other hyperlink. So now we're at EnglishStackExchange.com. And it's a closed thing on English language and usage from 3 years ago. Where does the expression spill the tea come from? It's idiomatic, informal, disclose information, kind of like a gossip. And let's see, Quincy tea. Can anyone tell me is it British or American? So this question, so is this actually a question? Because it just seems like the title asks a question. In the UK, there's an older expression, spill the beans. And it was the judge that said spill the tea, not spill the beans, spilt milk. This answer that got 7 up says it comes from drag culture and has a double-edged meaning. It could also refer to someone else's hidden truth, that is gossip. So the phrase spill the tea was used as an encouragement to gossip, but has been used in everything from Harlequin romance novels, RuPaul's Drag Race. Larry Wilmore talked about it on Larry Wilmore's show, using weak tea when people weren't telling the absolute truth. Merriam-Webster says the expression is American slang. And this one uses Rob Kardashian's Instagram as an example. So, yeah, that's I think that's interesting. So spilling the tea means kind of like to encourage someone to gossip, which was how it was used in this one. But I was just like, I've heard of spill the beans myself. Okay, so then toodaloo, which I'm saying toodles. Another thing I have trouble saying, toodaloo. This is English. It was a word of the day on the Wikidictionary in September 2010. It means farewell, see you soon, toodaloo. Not much else about it. So, yeah, that's a quick one. Also, this one comes up is On Your Own. They were On My Own. And I thought about the song On My Own, and I thought about the song On Your Own, which is a Blur song. For some reason, that popped in my head, though now that I'm talking about it, it's not popping in my head. And it's a song by Blur. It was released as a single in June of 1997 on their 5th album, Blur. It charted number 5 on the UK singles charts. It wasn't released, although it was not released exclusively under the name. It was also one of the first ever Gorillaz tunes. So B-side was Song 2 or Pop Scene. It's 4 minutes and 26 seconds long. Let's see what else was said. This was back when they had music videos. B-sides were recorded at John Peel's home studio. Track listings. Thought there would be something more, but in popular culture, it was used in the film The Beach in 2000 as a soundtrack. So yeah, kind of another piece of research that I would say to pass Scoots. That's a bit of a dud, pass Scoots. I'd say no problem, current Scoots. Let's just keep rolling. What about Silly Billy? This is regencyhistory.net. Article from Saturday, 21st of January, 2012. Who was Silly Billy? It's a common nickname for someone who behaves foolishly. Sounds familiar, even though I'm not behaving particularly foolishly now. And it's particularly appropriate if someone happens to be named William. Well, boy, the nickname appears to originate in the 18th century, but this person, I don't see their name. Rachel is the first name. I'll see if it's at the end of the article. It found 3 different royal Williams who earned it. Prince William, Friedrich, Duke of Gloucester, King William the IV, so that's 4th, and Prince William of Orange. But who won? Who was the original Silly Billy? The Duke of Gloucester was a cousin of George the Fourth, pompous, who demanded great respect, but was not known for his intelligence. Wallace, confirming the Duke, knew that he was widely known as Silly Billy. The antidote, they could have been his cousin was a greater fool than him. There was a contemporary cartoon that seems to support this. It shows William IV sitting on a carved chair, wearing a fool's cap. And many sources suggest that the phrase "silly Billy" is originally coined for William the Fourth. There was different books that say he earned this nickname because as a young man, he was very excitable and tactless. It also sounds familiar. Evidence seems to suggest his behavior was wild and ridiculous at times, and that he was afflicted with some, he was just a bit, and then one of the silliest old gentlemen. So there's more about that, and then Prince William of Orange, but I want to get to the summary. All three Williams were known for the lack of wisdom, but I do believe that the Duke of Gloucester was the original Silly Billy, both in reminiscence from a grown now and the satirical cartoon. The Duke is acknowledged as Silly Billy, though Grenville's memoirs suggest that William IV, deserved the nickname. It is unsurprising that the nickname has become associated with William IV, given his importance of his standing compared to his relatively unknown cousin. And let me just see if I can find who we're crediting here on this blog about Rachel. Let's see. So this is regencyhistory.net. It has been said, this is quoting Rachel Knowles, that every writer must first be a reader, and I've always loved reading. As a child, I was fascinated by tales of fantasy, including Blyton's Enchanted Wood, wrote my own magical adventures. When I was 13, I read Pride and Prejudice for the first time, and I fell in love, not just with Mr. Darcy, with the whole Regency age. So I'll definitely link to this article. And then, of course, we got to talk about, I'll do a quick one. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA starts sometimes. And there's other codes, but this one, is either known as the Contra code or the Konami code, or the 30 Lives code. It's a cheat code. It appears in many Konami video games and some non-Konami ones. In the original version of the code, the player can do up, down, left, right, BA starts. And I just tried this recently with my daughter, and it worked with one of those Nintendos that's not an original Nintendo. I think so. It's also found a place in popular culture as a reference to the third generation of video consoles and as an Easter egg on a number of websites. It was first used in the 1986 release of Gradius, a scrolling shooter for the NES. And then it was in the North American players version of Contra, which was dubbed the Contra code or the 30 Lives code. So you got 30 lives where you usually just had like 2 or 3. It was developed, as a home port of the 1985 Gradius. It was too difficult to test. Created a cheat code to give a full set of power-ups, normally that you would attain gradually. And the code was meant to be removed prior to publishing, but it was overlooked. And the developers decided to leave it there, meaning, because they didn't want to create new bugs by taking it out. It was also in the Super NES version, Gradius 3, but it was using it was a different type of controller. And then on the Wii remote, Gradius Rebirth. And there's other variations depending on if you're using the NES or the PlayStation or a numerical pad. And then 573 is also used extensively in Dance Dance Revolution. So Jason would probably know about that. And that's a Konami. I think that's another one. That's called System 573. So list of them: Gradius, Life Force, Nemesis. So these are all Gradius, Gradius Deluxe, Contra, Super C, Operation C, Neo 4. Oh, even in Castlevania, some of them. Cool. I'm going to have to try it out. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles uses it, and Dance Dance Resolution. Oh, Metal Gear even. I never played that, but I know some people that really love that game. So I'll link to that too. I hope you sleep well. As we say goodbye to the Soul Squad, we'll see them again. You could re-listen to all 4 seasons of our coverage and watch all 4 seasons of the show again, and then, move on to all the amazing projects that everybody that worked on that show is working on now and probably developing and pitching right now. We hope all of them, everybody that's been involved and all, but particularly the Good Place, ends up in a good place where we can keep enjoying the content, whether they're performing or writing, producing, directing, doing something else behind the scenes. That's so important. Thank you so much. All right. I want to thank everybody who supported the show on Patreon. I want to thank Holly, Olive, and Rachel. Thanks, and good night. Good night. I want to thank Garrett, Sparkle, Danny, and Cassidy. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Kelsey, Craig, and Claudia. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Nathan, Katie, and Laura. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Amy, Pidge, and Jolynn. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Charlotte, Emily, and Jamie. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Maureen, Max, and Lori. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Yell, Jay, and Julie. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Amy, Amanda, and Angelina. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Anne, Courtney, and Alex. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Candace, Clint, and Miguel. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Lenora, Aaron, and Emily. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Chris, William, and Joe. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Noah, Naomi, and Kaylee. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. And I want to thank Amanda and Crab. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. Sleep With Me exists because of direct listener action, whether it's supporting the show and being a member on Patreon, supporting our sponsors, spreading the word. Couldn't do it without all you. I really appreciate the support. Thanks, and good night, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots with a tuck you in message here for our bedtime story podcast. We're trying out, and I kind of said this, free way to support Sleep With Me and bedtime stories from Sleep With Me is join our referral program, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, R-E-F-E-R. You get rewarded for introducing people to the free version of Sleep With Me, including access to Sleep With Me Plus. But most of all, just think about what your favorite podcast is or one of your favorite podcasts, and then support that podcast. It doesn't have to be Sleep With Me, but just to support your favorite podcast because they could use your support right now. And if you decide, Sleep With Me is actually my favorite podcast, well, wow, blushing, seriously, even though it's imaginary here in this context, and support it at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, or listen to a show you love and see how they want to be supported. Thanks.